This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Right now, you can get any Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania window or door at 20% off. No money down, no payments, no interest for a year. Call 717-727-7558 or head to rbacentralpa.com/deals before this deal ends on September 30th. Thousands of children are living with parents who have a substance use disorder. Meanwhile, officials are pointing fingers after a suspect in a $1.6 million drug case got released. Eagles fans are looking at their Kelly Green merch sideways, mostly because they have to. Lastly, a beloved pretzel comes home. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. Thousands of children across the state are directly affected by drugs, reports PennLive. According to data from the Pennsylvania Department of Health, 66,000 are living with a parent who has a substance use disorder. 342 infants died between 2012 and 2021 in incidents involving such parental substance abuse, while another 561 nearly died. 663 infants were identified as substance affected related to prenatal exposure to drugs. These numbers, says head of the Center for Children's Justice Kathleen Palm, not only show how greatly affected kids can be by drugs, but how they can often be left out of strategies that mitigate the crisis. Palm is therefore urging officials to specifically prioritize strategies that focus on how the opioid crisis impacts children, stating how such data collection is rather lacking. Says she, quote, "It's a really weird place that we are this far into the epidemic and we know it's having an impact on children, yet we are not able to say what the data points are that tell us how bad this crisis is for children." Giancarlos Picardo Cepeda was arrested by federal agents at a Greyhound station in downtown Pittsburgh a few weeks back, reports the Tribune Review. Cepeda had been carrying about 450,000 doses of fentanyl, which amounts to a street value of around $1.6 million, and was supposed to appear in court after he was released on a non-monetary bond. He never showed. Now local politicians are pointing fingers at each other, with one side blaming ideological policies and the other blaming the district attorney for not being proactive enough in the case. Allegheny County DA Stephen A. Zappala Jr. further believes that District Judge Xander Ornstein, who ran on a platform of criminal justice reform, including limiting the use of cash bail, is politicizing the bond process, thereby, quote, jeopardizing the public unnecessarily. There's now a nationwide warrant out for Cepeda's arrest. It also came to light he has a previous criminal history, including 7 other arrests, a pending case in New York for grand larceny, and sexual assault. Eagles fans were stoked over the release of throwback Kelly Green t-shirts and jerseys, states the Philadelphia Inquirer. But some of the fans who've received their orders from Fanatics are looking at their merch sideways, mostly because they have to. People have been sharing photos on social media of the tees and jerseys, whose font is lopsided, kind of making it look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's not exactly clear what happened, but Fanatics confirmed it's temporarily stopped shipments of all Kelly Green apparel to conduct a quality control assessment. Says CEO Michael Rubin, quote, "I let some of you down, and I apologize." The Langhorne location of the Philly pretzel factory became involved in a twisted affair recently, says phillyburbs.com. Its beloved mascot, Dosif, a pretzel with legs that proudly stands outside the spot waving an American flag, went missing. Dosif was apparently stolen early Friday morning, but instead of contacting the police, co-owner Brian King decided to alert the community about Dosif's disappearance by posting about it online. Not even 2 days later, Dosif was back standing outside the pretzel factory like he never left. He also doesn't look one bit salty about the whole thing. What a pretzel, that Dosif. That's all for today. For even more news, check out PennLive.com. And please don't forget to rate this podcast wherever you may listen to it. And feel free to email me at todayinpa@PennLive.com with any thoughts you may have. Thanks in advance. And as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll be back for Friday's episode of Today in PA. This podcast is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Right now, you can get any Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania window or door at 20% off. No money down, no payments, no interest for a year. Call 717-727-7558 or head to rbacentralpa.com/deals before this deal ends on September 30th.